Hey up everyone, this is some video from my first trip to the Adventure Rider Centre in Mijas, Spain. It was particularly challenging for me as I still had my knee braced after being told I'd never walk again. I could just about stand on the pegs, but I had to learn how to control the bike from a seated position much more, as my knee just couldn't take standing on the pegs for long at all. This is the story of those 2 days riding and the lessons learned from people who really know what they're doing. You can see some of the great scenery in the area too from the footage. 7 of us from vstrom.co.uk met up at Malaga, and we were collected from the airport by a smiling Kaz. She took us to the 4-star hotel they had booked us into in the centre of Mijas and got us settled, leaving us to enjoy the rest of the day before riding started the next morning. We spent the first afternoon sat by the pool in glorious sunshine. We also found out we'd arrived during the Mijas Feria, which is a week-long party for the whole pueblo, so we couldn't have chosen a better time. Mijas Pueblo is a beautiful place that's been voted one of the best traditional Andalusian white villages on multiple occasions. It's worth a visit in its own right if you ever get the chance. The next morning, we were collected after an early breakfast and taken to the Adventure Rider Centre, or the Arc as it gets called, to get kitted out and fitted for the bikes. The bikes were all top-spec enduros, mostly Husqvarnas, everything from 252 strokes to 454 strokes. There was a big old Husaberg too. I chose a 354 stroke Husky. All the kit was top-notch. Held, Acerbis and Klim are 3 of the names that I remember, but everything was just best quality and very new. Nothing was worn out, and there was plenty of choices, with sizes to fit everyone, from the shortest to the tallest, including the 6'6" giant who'd come along with us. Everything we needed was included. After a brief introduction to the bikes and what was to come, day 1 began with a ride around an area Baz called the playground. Lots of small obstacles and relatively easy climbs, bumps and gullies that helped Baz assess our different abilities and see how we all reacted to the instructions. We were all more used to riding adventure motorcycles than real dirt bikes. The training and riding got gradually more testing throughout the day. We rode up into the hills, and with constant instructions and reminders, we all gradually got better and braver. We gained confidence and started to feel at home with the bikes. I wish the footage showed how steep the banks and cliffs were better, but believe me, they were steeper than they look. One area, which Baz had nicknamed the jungle, was particularly challenging, with thick undergrowth and gnarly rutted sections where the bikes clattered through the rocks and up and down deep gullies. The type of terrain I'd never even contemplated riding before. It was hot and tiring. We even ended up sat in a stream laughing at one point while we cooled down. Regular stops for food and drinks gave time to raise any questions, and seldom have I seen so many laughs and smiles around a table. After hours of riding the most glorious trails through the mountains, we went back to Mijas for some great food, and the pool was perfect for soaking away those aches and pains of the day. The rest of the evening was spent exploring Mijas and enjoying the festivities of the feria, which does seem to bring out the best of local hospitality. Day 2 started by learning how to climb and descend much steeper inclines, and we continued along more extreme trails through the mountains. The countryside was glorious, with some very serious terrain to test us even more. After a while, we ended up in a large empty basin with a lot of sand. There were various tracks, and we had a ride around a small circuit that included a very steep drop-off. I remember saying, "You're not seriously expecting me to ride off that, are you?" to Baz. Baz replied with a smile, "Of course, you can do that, no problem. Just pick a line and go for it." No mention of the fact that you couldn't actually see a line until you were committed and already over the lip. To be fair, it was easier than it looked. It had a smooth downhill exit into a sandy section, and then a long berm followed by an equally steep rutted climb. This took us back up onto the raised area to again drop off the bank into the sandy section, with the berm and around again. Great fun for everyone. With no pressure and very clear instructions, he had us all riding it with big smiles very quickly, and this small circuit gave us a great chance to practice the balance and weight transfer skills we'd been learning. You at least get some idea from the footage. After that, we continued further up into the hills, with some seriously challenging sections. I remember at one point crossing through a gap in an old wall to realise we only had a matter of inches the other side. We had to crawl by what can only be called a small cliff. Challenging to ride, to say the least. Another steep climb had some really deep gouges within the gullies, where water erosion had carved deep into the track. Learning how to negotiate them without the wheels just getting wedged into the deep rocky ruts wasn't easy, but that was the point. Every hour brought a new challenge, and it was a tiring ride, but with each new challenge came more smiles. Words could never describe the experience adequately, but I hope with this video I've given you an idea of how fantastic an experience it can be. We were always looked after with food and drink, and the kit was top grade stuff, with the best package of armour and protection, as well as top grade bikes. Everyone, without exception, whatever their abilities, had an incredible time. Kaz and Baz couldn't have done more during our whole stay. I had done easy green lanes and forest tracks on some how-built scramblers, and some fairly light off-roading on a big adventure bike. Oh, and half a day playing on a motocross track on an EXC 125 and a KX 450. But nothing like this. And with options all around for different ability riders to use, no one ever felt bored or left out. It pushed me well past where I thought my limits were, but in a safe and controlled way. Full mops all around go to all of the ARC staff, who couldn't have done more or made us feel more welcomed. If you are considering doing anything like this, don't. Just book it. You will have an amazing time and learn more skills on the motorbike than you might think possible. If any of you have been to the Adventure Rider Centre, let us know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your experience of any other similar places too. I do think I learned more in 2 days than at any other time during my 40 plus years of riding. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more news, stories and adventures in the world of motorbikes too. Thanks for watching. Ride free everyone.